what have you seen so far from your quarterbacks?
Yeah, a lot of guys, a lot of good players for sure. And so, I think the biggest thing for them is just staying focused one day at a time. I mean, they probably had to deal with so much media and all these outside distractions and all those things, which is good for them. But I think for them, just the importance of taking one day at a time, one rep at a time. The two young guys should still be at the high school prom right now. And so, I think they just got to, have some fun and take one day at a time.
Was it any, go ahead, sorry.
Does it help, having a veteran guy like Jake Browning, who's been starting for 4 years, kind of solidify the offensive line?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think, the biggest thing, coming into this job, I think, is you have a veteran guy and you got a lot of young guys. And so, make no mistake, I mean, we're here to challenge Jake Browning every single day. I want him kind of feeling a little bit of pressure as well. And then, at the same point, simplifying enough for those young guys.
So, Bush, was it a no-brainer when Chris called you and asked you to come back?
It's never a no-brainer. I just think, it was a no-brainer because it was Chris Peterson. I guess is the best way I can say it. But, no recruiting, and there's a lot more time off in the NFL. So it was a hard decision. I love Seattle. I'm where I am today because of Chris Peterson, so it knows where I am.
When we look at the offense, is there any play out there or anything we can look and go, okay, that's Bush Hamdan's stamp on this offense?
No, I mean, there's things we've brought, I think things that we've been doing for a long time. And as you guys know, sometimes things phase out and you try to bring them back in. But everything we're doing is things we've done, just trying to, tweak them here and there and how it fits us.
Now you've had 4 practices so far, Bush. Does anything feel different than the last time you were here?
It's a really good question. I mean, it's so weird for me, like seeing some of the young guys that we were recruiting, and now they're out there. That's probably the biggest thing I'd say. And obviously with the receivers being selfish, when you see Ty Jones and Terrell Bynum and Austin Osborne out there. And I miss John Ross and Dante Pettis, not because they were just great players, but you just miss them. You miss those guys not being out here and being able to talk with them and joke with them and those things. So it's just new faces, but there's a lot of familiar ones too.
It is a little different, kind of focusing more on the quarterbacks now than the receivers?
Yeah, I have a tough time sometimes. I think I took my practice script today and I was highlighting the wide receiver drills, and about halfway through I'm like, okay, I'm in the wrong section. So it can be a little bit hard there, kind of going back and forth. And, the relationships I have with some of those guys, I got to do a much better job of just staying out and coaching them each way.
Yeah, the defensive guys, they were talking about with Coach Lake and Coach Bukowski, how things don't change so much with them, even though Jimmy's going to be calling the plays, so to speak. Does it feel kind of the same way on offense in terms of, like you were saying, it still is a Chris Peterson offense, but you get to kind of run the show during game days?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, everybody kind of puts their wrinkle on things, and I think sometimes it's a little bit more than just the plays being called. I think each guy brings a different personality to the position, and so I think there's some there. But again, man, we're excited. We got a great staff, and we're just fired up to be here.
What about the dynamic of the first 4 days of spring ball? Because it almost seems like every top program out there, the defense almost seems to want to rule the day coming out of spring. Is there just something about that that's the way it seems to work?
Yeah, I like what we've done the last 2 days. You guys took the day off on Saturday, so you were here. I like where we're headed. We're trending in the right direction, and again, it's always that challenge of, are we installing what we need to install, or are we preparing to beat our defense? And so I think those guys have done some good things. I've always said this from day one here. If we're competing, we're doing some good things on our defense, we're trending in the right direction.
Was Scott Huff back at Boise State when you were there?
He was. I think, I think he might have been, got there as a tight ends coach during my last years there.
Your relationship with him prior to?
Yeah, I mean, he is like, if you know Scooter, he is Mr. Boise State. So he's probably one of the most loved guys there, just an unbelievable personality. And so I'm fired up to work with that guy.
Bush, this seems like an obvious transition for you to come back, but was there a lot of thought and process into it about, is it really the right time to make this move?
Yeah, I mean, and we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I think anytime Matt Ryan's your quarterback and you're working for Dan Quinn, it's something to think about. It's just recruiting, and you guys know that, man, the hours you have to put in at the college level, you get a lot more, free time, if you will, there. But I am where I am today because of Chris Peterson, and in that way, it made it a no-brainer for me.
What have you sponged from both Sark and from Jonathan Smith as a play caller that can help you?
Yeah, I think I'm so fortunate to have been around both those guys. I think it always comes down to preparation. So much of it is just feeling the calls and being prepared, doing the work beforehand. So that preparation is critical.
Jake Browning has talked about how you guys were on the same page even when you were receivers coach, but are there new tweaks that can help him with the pro style you have that can make him an even finer quarterback?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've always been into a pro style system and whatnot, really for the pressure it takes off of the quarterback. And so one of the things I guess I always think about, one of my jobs, is how can we, not make him every play have to be perfect. And so the more we can do that and create open space and open guys down the field is obviously something we're starting to do.
One of your big jobs will be to find his understudy. Tell me about the young group of guys you inherit there to try and groom to be a number 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like the one year you take off, you inherit probably as good a group of young guys as there is out there. I'm impressed with every one of them. I keep saying this. These 2 young guys, are getting down after their first 2 practices. A normal young guy doesn't have his first spring ball till another year from now, and so for those guys to be out here and have an idea of what we're trying to get done, I think is critical, and it's been really cool for Jake Haener. I mean, I just knew it. He's a guy with an edge on his shoulder. You guys give him no attention, and he comes out here, and he's had a really good spring camp.
And it's early.
It's early, but you still won't give him attention, so I know that. He's too short or something, right?
How do you identify all the Jakes and Jacobs in one room?
I just call them all Jake. With like Colson, we just gave his middle name Jake, so he can't get mad at me by now. I just say, hey man, coaches come into our meetings, recruits come in. I said, if you don't know, just use the name Jake and you'll be okay. So.
What's the biggest challenge for you, just in spring ball in general, having these 4 weeks to work with these guys?
Yeah, I think it's always the challenge of building confidence, but making sure you're getting what you need to in, and I think that's the challenge. Obviously, if we were working on an opponent and we were working on our defense, you might limit what you have in, but at the same time, we got to make sure what we're installing is going to be there for us for 13, 14 games of the year.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
appreciate you, man. Good seeing you guys.